start by a bit of a background. So this was shot over three and a half, 4-year period. And Hubert, originally what he wanted to do was follow a police officer and a youth for a year and sort of parallel lives. But unfortunately the police officer union didn't want to give that sort of access, so that didn't happen. So the next idea was to follow two black youth over a year's period, and he came to me through the Pathways program and asked if I could introduce him to some young men. So originally I introduced him to about 14 youth from the Regent Park community at different stages in terms of social, emotional, academics, and so forth. And it just sort of worked out that Kendall and Mikey were the sort of the last two that actually followed through in the end, and were able to complete the film. So that's a little bit of a background. Maybe we can start by if there's any particular questions that anyone has. What happened to Kendall? Okay, so both Kendall and Mikey right now at George Brown, and I think a couple of things that came out of the film is the fact that for them it's still a journey, like it is for so many people, and they have their good days and bad days, good weeks, bad weeks, good years, bad years. So it is that sort of process, and as I said, I think the most important thing is that they have individuals in their lives that they can still connect with as they move through life. And I know that there are distinct differences between Jane-Finch community and Regent Park community, like all communities. But I think there are some universal messages that do come out of this film. And in terms of a little bit of what happens in the end, there's also there's a scene where, I'm not sure if it was if you've seen that part yet, where Mikey and his mom are having a conversation, and she starts to cry. Was that shown? No? Okay. So basically, she was talking about, she was discussing with him why she pulled his bail and left him in jail, right? And it was a very difficult thing for her to do, but it's something that she felt that she needed to do, because at the time in the community there was a lot of things happening, a lot of violence happening, and really he was not safe. And so as hard as it was, it's something that she felt that she needed to do. And that sort of dialogue occurred like a year after the initial incident, so they never really discussed it. And I think in talking to Kendall and Mikey and the families, the one thing, when Hubert approached me to do this, I wanted to make sure that whatever came of the film, that it was actually real, and made sure that the families had first say in terms of what the final cut was, and that the community had a chance to view it before it went to the broader public, and he agreed to that. And because those of you that work in community know that to do that type of work, your reputation is very important, and when the cameras leave, you're still there, and that respecting is something that you can't buy, right? It's something that's earned. So he was very cool in being able to do that, and the families were able to discuss a lot of things on film that they never actually discussed in private, which was kind of an interesting thing. And for both Kendall and Mikey, their moms, both moms explained to me that this has brought them closer to their sons, because they were almost forced in a way to sort of see the world through their eyes. And a lot of times as parents, you don't have that opportunity, and the assumption, and for the boys too, to understand the things that their moms have to do to make sure that they are cared for. Any other questions?
just make a quick comment. Thank you so much. Initially, our plan, we had a youth panel. Initially, the plan was to have a youth panel, then take questions from Ainsworth. But looking at the time, we're going to have them just stand up, they sit down where they are, and then we're going to have them ask Ainsworth questions, and then people can jump in if they want, and other people can also participate. Does that work for people? Do you want to introduce yourself? Have you done that already? Oh, you've done that already. Yeah, what about the others? We have 4 other people who were supposed to be on the youth panel. Yeah, do you want to stand up? Yeah. Oh, so you're one of them. Do you want to stand up and introduce yourself? And you were asking all those hard questions, right? So, yeah.
My name's Anita. I'm an 18-year-old student. I go to Ryerson University and I'm part of FLIP, as you can see in the uniform. It's a financial literacy program, and yeah. My name is Lola. I go to York, my 2nd year. I'm also part of the financial literacy program, and I was born and raised in Jane-Finch, so yeah.
My name is Felix. I volunteer, I've worked and participated, been a participant at the spot in Jane-Finch. So yeah, and I've lived here all my life, born and raised. So yeah.
Yeah, my name is Jayu. My real name, that's my artist name, like I told you guys earlier. My real name is Marvin. So I just want to ask if it was a difficult task of filming it in Regent Park. Because personally, I was born in Regent Park. I grew up here half of my life before I came to Jane-Finch, and I know the struggle in Regent Park. You know what I mean? So I just want to know if it was difficult, the task of doing the documentary there.
Well, difficult. I think for Hubert, I think he had to understand the dynamics of community, right? Like, and understanding who community deems to be leaders, right? And it's not always who has that official title. So he had to get clearance not only from Metro Housing or TCHC and from the Toronto District School Board in terms of accessing the buildings, accessing the schools, but he also had to get clearance from the elders in the community. So a dude walking around the community camera is not always received in a positive way at times. So he has to understand the certain corners within the communities and who sort of is in charge of those corners, and being able to connect with those people on that level and understand that it's something positive that he's trying to do. So in terms of it being, the community has embraced the project, and I think because there's a certain level of respect for the families that were involved, and I don't think it was a difficult process to go through in that way.
Okay, yeah, what's up? It's Blackest Ninja again. I want to ask you, or more of a comment, when the youth that were going through the growth spurts, you've seen them innocent, and you've seen them more aggressive. In doing that documentary, like you said, did it get, like, was there a point where they said, yo, I don't want to do it anymore because it's getting too intense and it's, interfering with my regular day-to-day life? Yeah, and I think they had to reach that point because a lot of what they were doing was a lot of that negative behavior. And sometimes you get too deep that it's very difficult to come out of that. And even though you may want to change your life or your lifestyle, certain people won't let that go, right? So that is a process. And part of why I wanted to do this project is for some of the guys that may not necessarily go to the theaters and see this sort of project as something that could be given to them as a way of bridging some of that communication, because a lot of the guys in the neighborhood that the